Much more terrifying than the restless undead, it's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Hello and welcome to Xplay, the show that rips into bad games like a zombie from Lucio Fulci film.
On today's show, we review Geist, the long-awaited supernatural shooter for the GameCube.
Plus, one of the best damn portable strategy games ever hits the Nintendo DS.
And I have my own paranormal experience when I meet a psychic and get a first look at the terrifying Fatal Frame 3.
Plus, because the economy sucks, more games for cheap bastards.
And later, we review Darkwatch.
That's the ultra-violent and completely plausible shooter about a cowboy vampire who kills zombies.
Right. But we begin with something we rarely see anymore, a GameCube exclusive.
Nintendo has clearly bumbled its way through this console cycle, but they're still trying to give the handful of GameCube owners something to smile about.
Will this heavily hyped game make up for the dearth of GameCube exclusives? Find out when we review Geist. Sure, it's a decent shooter, but this is no Resident Evil 4.
In fact, the most interesting thing about the game is the story behind its developers.
As you may have noticed from the footage you saw in the review, the game's very violent.
So you might find it surprising to discover that the game the developers made right before Geist was
Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's Sweet 16 License to Drive. Yeah.
For the record, if I had to make an Olsen Twins game, I'd probably be programming monsters ripping people's heads off too.
Either way, Geist is yet another example of Nintendo giving fans too little too late.
But while their console dominance has taken a massive beating, at least Nintendo is still making a killing in the handheld market.
And now that one of our favorite strategy game series is coming to the DS, we have to give credit where credit is due. At least they're doing one thing right.
Here's a review of Advance Wars Dual Strike.
I can't wait to play this one for hours. It almost makes me long for international air travel.
Don't change the channel, or pass out, or move at all, because later in the show we have vampire cowboys fighting zombies. We can't make this stuff up.
Out of me, it's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
You don't have a body!
Welcome back to Xplay, the show that isn't afraid of the supernatural.
Sure, we've been accused of being godless heathens, and one fan even suggested my mother was a lemur. But nothing can prepare you for the supernatural journey Morgan recently undertook.
To get a first look at the survival horror game Fatal Frame 3, I had to come face to face with the paranormal. And the paranormal is not very attractive. To celebrate the release of Fatal Frame 3, The Tormented, Tecmo sent us to the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California, to experience a little horror of our own. Sarah Winchester was the widow of rifle maker William Winchester. Using her $20 million inheritance, she constructed a sprawling, haphazardly planned mansion because a psychic told her it was the only way to appease the spirits of those killed by her late husband's rifles.
I heard this house was haunted.
Rumors are just rumors.
In Fatal Frame 3, spirits are trying to kill Rei Kurosawa, regardless of her architectural aspirations. Rei's a photographer, and after seeing her late fiancé pop up in one of her recent photos, she begins having strange dreams of a haunted mansion, and sleeping with no covers. Meanwhile, back at the Mystery House, Tecmo has arranged for a real-life seance with a real-life psychic to whip up a real dead ghost.
I walk through the house.
Apparently, ghosts talk kind of slowly. The ghost claims to be the former caretaker of the Winchester mansion, a guy named Clyde. Conveniently, there's no record of any such person existing, but some people claim that Clyde is this guy driving the buggy. And by some people, I mean the Winchester Mystery House gift shop. After the ghost departs, it's time for questions.
Where was he in this room?
Where was he? He was around here, around me, and then he'd come in me and go out of me. Did you feel any coldness at all?
I felt almost like a hand kind of
Not
thing.
grabbing, but yeah, brushing.
Brushing.
Yeah.
Sort of like all around.
All
my
around
neck
you?
area.
Yeah, he was moving around the table.
Wait, she just said the ghost was behind her.
Why does it get cold? Because it's their energy. The energy is cold.
Where are Penn and Teller when you need them? Look, it's not like anyone was taking this whole seance thing that seriously, but this stuff can really mess people up if it's targeted at vulnerable and gullible folks who aren't thinking rationally. I mean, did we really prove the existence of the afterlife at a video game industry event? Of course not. And everybody played along and everybody had a great old time, but nothing really happened that somebody with a library card and you know, a stage degree couldn't have whipped up by themselves. Just remember, when it comes to the supernatural, you need to keep your wits about you. Not because some ethereal monster you might encounter, but just in case someone tries to convince you a ghost wants you to build a new deck or something like that. You might save a lot on the construction costs in the end. You right there, Sessler? Judging by Fatal Frame 3, ghosts don't have an obsession with architecture so much as an aversion to photography. Using the mystical camera obscura, you can dispel your spiritual assailants by snapping pictures of them. Not your best side, lady. Ray wakes up from these visions with a steadily expanding tattoo, so she figures it's probably a good idea to get to the bottom of her increasingly realistic dreams. With her assistant Miku, the Winchester Mystery House lives up to its reputation of weird. Bizarre and totally inefficient twisting staircases and the occasional secret passage make it clear that Mrs. Winchester was rarely in a hurry to get anywhere. Our patient and knowledgeable guide was ready with an answer for all of our most incisive questions. So the real ghost stuff, that's still up in the air, but at least we know Fatal Frame is really scary.
Where did he go?
Look, the lights are moving. Must be a really bored ghost.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to bring you the review when Fatal Frame 3 comes out in November of 2005, this year.
Yeah, and were you totally possessed by the devil during that Penn and Teller segment?
Yes.
You were? Then can I start calling you Emily Rose?
No.
No what, Emily?
No, I said no. No.
That wielding mob, it's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to Xplay.
Summer is over, and you're gonna need to stock up on good games for those long, lonely winter nights.
We assume they'll be lonely because, like me, you're a gamer. But you're also broke. But that's okay, because we have more Games for Cheap Bastards, presented by EB Games.
Product placement, yeah!
Yeah!
Comic book guy.
Don't we, like, rip them off every other episode?
Well, yeah, but we're hypocrites.
All right, we are. Worst hypocrisy ever.
Not talking much thing. It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Damn straight. Welcome back to Xplay.
I have 4 words for you. Zombie, killing, cowboy, vampire.
Yep, it's time for our review of Dark Watch, the game that mixes Deadwood, Underworld, and Night of the Living Dead. Okay, so we have 2 shooters, both come to 3 out of 5, and they both represent 2 different interesting things about shooter games.
Well, Dark Watch was trying to be very serious, Sam Stale. Lots of enemies, everybody flying at you, and really it's a mindless shooter, and it's good, but the controls are a little imprecise, which make it a little frustrating.
Because if you're going to have a lot of enemies, you need to be able to hit them and hit them and hit them, and not kind of move around and try to jostle and move to the side. A Geist, since it didn't have as many enemies, you could get away with that, but then there's all those other things that were wrong with it. So, that's your lesson for today. Feel schooled? I don't.